jigler. Care.
Camping for landscape photography, or with the purpose of doing landscape photography on location, I think is one of the most interesting experiences that you can have as a landscape photographer. The fact that you are there on location enables you to have a true feel of the place and to witness every change in light that is happening. So you have a really big advantage of doing this. I realize also that this is probably outside of the comfort zone for a lot of people, but you have to try it and to experiment it at least once. Now, after we set up the tent, we started to explore the location. This is a really remote place, and you can get in this location only if you have a serious 4x4 car. In this shot, for example, we were looking down the valley and we were using the road as a leading line, and we captured first of all this photo with this man walking down with his horse and his dog, and it's almost like he's going home into the distance. I know that is not his home, but it looks like this. And then we have this lady that gathers the cows and take them back home, and again it looks really, really picturesque, and it has a certain feel, if you want. Another thing that you have to do when you're camping is to prepare your own food. Now, I don't like to eat cans or something like that. I like to prepare my food and to basically enjoy camping as much as I can. Of course, we had to build a fire. I mean, what workshop by the tent is complete without a fire, and of course something to drink to loosen up the atmosphere. Whenever this is happening, we have a traditional drink called palinka, and whenever this drink comes out, every joke in the repertoire is there. It's early in the morning, and it's really cold. It was windy last night, and the tent kept flopping, and the noises kept me awake. But let's see what today brings. We went down the road that you saw in the previous photos and got really close to this house where we have the fence. Now, the first photo was this one with the house with a little bit of light during blue hour. It has such a warm feeling to it. The whole atmosphere is cold with the blue, and then you have the house with a little bit of light. For this shot, I included the road that starts from the lower left and goes to the right, and then the photo turns you back to the house on top of the hill. Right now we are getting ready to explore the area some more. We ate some breakfast, and now we're gonna go in that direction over there, and I hope it's not raining. Autumn, it's not at its fullest in this place, but it's a good thing it's not a clear sky and we don't have harsh shadows. So the first photo with this house will be from this place, and I wanted to have the house and then the mountain in the background with those trees in the colors of autumn. Now I'll try to find another angle for this house to have the entire valley in the background. And finally we have this shot where there are the cows in the right, and then we have the house and the entire valley that unfolds in the background. And this zigzag starting from right, left, and right and left again creates a very interesting composition line. Now the reason a composition like this it's better than the one I took from there where I have only the house and the trees in the background, it's because this puts things in perspective. We have the house and then we have the valley, and this way I think as a photographer you can tell a better story. The viewer understands better where this house is located. It shows the surroundings, the valley, and the entire village unfolds in front of you. So just because of that, I think it's a better or more interesting photo to look at. And that's the group shot. And of course the group is not there anymore. We moved on and got through this tunnel of trees, and then my attention was drawn to this tree over here. On the outside of the forest, I noticed the trees were having some really beautiful yellow leaves, and I framed them closely. It's almost like I'm creating an intimate shot, if you want. This tree is the same story in this photo, but I used the green of the pine tree behind this tree. Then we moved on and we found this really beautiful farm where you have an entrance and the road kind of invites you in, and I used the gradiated filter for the top to darken the clouds and draw more attention to the house. After that we encountered this scene with these horses, and we have the valley and the house in the distance. It looks so good. We got back from the tour from today, and it's time to relax a little bit, eat something, and just wait to see if the light is going to be different for the sunset. And that is a big plus when you're camping on location, when with the purpose of doing landscape photography. So the plus is that you are there, no matter what is happening, no matter what change in light is happening, you're there and you are able to take advantage of it very fast. So if you want to experience landscape photography in a completely different way compared to staying at a hotel, camp and see how different you feel the landscape, and you experiment everything that is connected to landscape photography and nature.
Tu făcând o fotografie bună, ce declanșează ca acel om să apese butonul?
It rained last night. It's not that cold. That's the biggest plus. It's not that cold. We have a little bit of fog. Not that much, unfortunately. So we're just gearing up, and we'll see if the rain doesn't stop completely. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, if we're going to go now or wait for the rain to stop. But judging by the look of the sky, I think it's gonna stop really soon. The first photo for this day was a panorama, and the entire day went like this with panoramas. I really like how the scene unfolds, the road, the mist, and how everything draws the attention of the viewer into the distance in the valley. Since we arrived here, this is the third time that we're photographing, especially in this place, and the reason is because, and every time we did that, we captured something completely different. And again, that's the beauty of camping right on location. You are being able to go back and back on different locations and start to photographing or try to photograph them in different ways. Now today the plan is to go see what's in the valley. Now for this morning we don't have sun again, but we have dramatic landscape in front of us. We'll try to benefit the most. We'll try to see what compositions we can create, and after we take breakfast we go hiking into the valley. Now the reason I like photographing this road over and over again with the houses in the distance, it's because it looks so picturesque. It's so inviting. This road, I don't know, it has all the right elements. You have rocks on both sides of the road that kind of guard the attention of the viewer and draw the viewer into the picture, and it has rocks on it, and this means it's bright, and again it can form a really powerful leading line that will lead the attention of the viewer in the valley. So it's so inviting to look at the photo that includes this road. We decided to hike up on this hill and to have a better perspective on the houses around us. The thing that we have to be extra careful is not to slip away. The two main compositions from up here are this one. We have the house and the small hill, and I'm making sure that I'm avoiding framing also this white house over here, because I don't want that to compete with my subject, and for that I had to hike in that direction. The second composition involves this house over here and these S-curves that I'm using as leading lines. Now what I'm making sure again is to avoid that house over there, and especially this one over here that has a white roof and could draw the attention from my subject, and that is this house over here. And now it's time to continue the hike. I have to go up a little bit and then down using the trail, because descending from here directly is a little bit steep. In a location like this, the tip would be to take your time and try to look as many shots as possible. We don't have too many subjects or obvious subjects, and that is houses. We'll probably have some trees back there, but for this location we have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 groups of houses. So we need to experiment and try to frame them in different ways. For this photo, my attention was drawn by the triangle that you can see. Then that is the roof of the house. We have the 2 trees to the left, and then I used a gradiated filter to the top and accentuated the dark gloomy clouds above the house. I think it's a very dark and mysterious photo, and it looks really well. The same technique was used in this case, where we also have the 2 haystacks and an entry as an entry point in the shot, and then I have the house in the background. Also the fence is a good leading line for this photo. In the case of this house, I liked the curved shape of the fence. I included the fences in the foreground just to have a little bit of depth and separation between planes. it's starting to rain. We'll continue to photograph, and I'll show you the photos and talk about settings and compositions. We found this really beautiful area with this grass that looks yellow-orange and these birch trees. The white trunks create the perfect atmospheric feeling, and I decided to do a lot of panoramas and to expose for the white bark and to have this feeling almost like I'm looking at a painting. I started with this photo, and I'm using those trees to the left and right as stopping elements to draw the attention on the birch tree in the background that sits next to the yellow tree. After that, I did this panorama that for me it looks a lot like, or the inspiration came from Russian painters. Again, for this photo, where I have this fence and also the birch trees. All these panoramas look, in my personal opinion, like or remind me of paintings. Just before we were ready to leave, I realized that my battery was drained. So we tried to power up the battery of the car with another battery that we borrowed from a lady in the small, really small village. But eventually I was lucky because there was another group of photographers in the area, and one of them had a 4x4 and got down with his car and gave me some power. And this is how I managed to get everyone's luggage outside of this place.